The Bears acted as if they had this big blockbuster smoking gun proposal, and they have been patting themselves on the back 2 weeks ago saying, yeah, we got the offer that's going to lure Russell Wilson away. We found out today, 3 first-round picks, 2 starters. Who those starters are, I don't know. It was a pop gun of an offer. And I honestly hope that all the bad things in the world happen to the Chicago Bears right now. This is me being petty and vindictive. This entire saga has been dumb, yes. It is a saga, though, that is real because Mark Rodgers made it so. I think it's over. I just think that the Chicago Bears trying to act as if they had some sort of Godfather offer that was actually going to make the Seahawks decide to say, you know, we could be NFC West title contenders, NFC title contenders, Super Bowl contenders this year. But you know what? Let's go be the Chicago Bears and get nothing at quarterback and a bunch of guys that can play around the quarterback that aren't quarterback. I'm sure that will be great. I hope everything bad in the world happens to Chicago. NBC Sports Chicago, you're a part of this. Bears fans, you're a part of this. I hope everything bad happens to you. And I hope that this is done, at least for the remainder of 2021. I did think today that we were going to be able to cross off Arya Stark style all the names that Russell Wilson's agent, Mark Rodgers, put out to the world as places that Russ would not want to be traded to, but would accept a trade to if he were traded. It's funny every time I read it. I thought it was going to be done once Andy Dalton signed with the Chicago Bears. Honestly, I do think it is done, but you guys are less convinced, and I don't blame you. We heard from Dan Patrick this morning when asked about this supposed gigantic offer that the Chicago Bears put together. An offer that some described as aggressive, others described as extremely aggressive, the kitchen sink, the smoking gun, all the ammunition of the world. We've heard it described a variety of different ways. The reality is, no matter how many picks the Bears cobbled together and how many starters they put together, they're not going to give the Seahawks an option for another quarterback. And the Seahawks with a $39 million cap hit this offseason, there's no with Russell Wilson off the roster, there's no reason for them to make this trade happen. But anyway, here's how Dan Patrick characterized this trade offer that the Bears put together.
The Bears offered 3 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and 2 starters. I don't know who the starters are. The source close to the Bears doesn't know who the starters are, but that Seattle was interested, but it comes down to Pete Carroll making the decision. Not the GM, John Schneider, but Pete Carroll.
I don't buy that they were interested for a second. Not for a second. And, yeah, if it comes down to Pete Carroll, guess who else isn't interested? Pete Carroll. So there's this idea now that Pete Carroll blocked the trade, which, by the way, smart for the Seahawks if that were the case, even though I don't think it's the case. And here's how the spin cycle works. Pete Carroll blocked Russell Wilson's trade after massive Bears offer. That is the headline from the New York Post. That, my friends, is why people look at us, talking heads like myself, yappers, and say to themselves, oh, well, I don't know how much stock I put into that. Maura Dooley just sent me a couple of Jason LaCanfora tweets. As the great Dan Patrick Show reported, the Bears offered 3 firsts and a 3 for Russell Wilson plus players. I'm told Seattle was offered a swath, great word, of players to choose from, including Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks, with the possibility one or more could be dealt. But the picks aren't that high and no quarterback for Seattle. The Bears lacked young, proven talent on rookie deals, and the approach lacked creativity. Boom! That's right, Jason LaCanfora. Get him! Likely needed to move up to get a higher pick or involve a third team to get a quarterback to Seattle. Now they roll with Dalton and Foles, and we'll wait to see if they survive until 2022. Get him, Jason LaCanfora. How about that? And LaCanfora has been one of those guys who's been in Russell Wilson's court. That is for darn sure, or at least talking to people in Russell Wilson's court. That trade offer was poo. It was. And it's funny. You're going to see this spin cycle. Like the Bears offered this great deal. They offered nothing. Nothing.